This video is brought to you by Dr. Kristen R. Bromley's Guitar Method Book Series and Online Music Academy.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kristen Bromley. Welcome to my online academy. It's so great to have you joining me here in these online lessons. In this video, we're going to get started with a scale system that we can use to play notes all along the fretboard. And since the focus of this lesson series is note reading, we're going to be, of course, reading notation and playing those notes along the fretboard. So it's going to be great. After I've introduced and got us started with the scale system, of course, we'll jam together just a little bit with a scale exercise so we can get familiar with it. And then in the next couple videos that come out, we'll use that scale to read some melodies and more in-depth scale exercises. So we'll get lots of practice reading in the key of C using the scale that I'll be introducing here in this video, and we'll do that in a couple different positions. So it's going to be great. This video accompanies lesson 1 from my note reading book 3 method book. So in that book, in this video, we're going to be on pages 1, 2, and 8. Those are the pages that we're going to be using, and we'll go ahead and start on page 1 in the book. So just as sort of why do we need a scale system? Well, on the guitar, and you'll see a little diagram there, the pitches that we play can exist in more than one location because of the way that the guitar is designed. So if you've been through note reading books 1 and 2, you'll have learned all the notes that exist in first position. The nice thing about first position is that there is only one place where we have an overlapping note when we're in standard tuning. So we have this open B string, that's our second string, and then at the 4th fret of the 3rd string we have that same B note. Otherwise, when we play any of the notes using the open strings or within the first 4 frets of the guitar, they're all just happening one time. They don't happen in more than one place. But when we bring in the entirety of the fretboard, these pitches can happen in more than one place. As I introduced in sort of the overview video, we've got this open E on the top string, and you'll see this there on the diagram on page 1. We've got this open string, and then at the 5th fret on the 2nd string, when I say open string, I'm playing that high string, and then at the 5th fret of the 2nd string, we've got the same pitch, and then at the 9th fret of the 3rd string, same pitch. 14th fret on the 4th string, we've got the same pitch. We come up higher on that 5th string, and we've got that same pitch. And then if I use a harmonic and cheat on the 6th string, I've even got the same pitch. So that's 6 places using the harmonic that I can have that pitch happening, and 5 just naturally happening by pushing the strings down. 5 strings have that pitch. So that makes reading notes really hard because we have to choose which version of a pitch we're going to use. So we really need a scale system that opens up the fretboard for us. So here in this lesson series, we're going to use the scale system that I think is the very best. This is the same scale system that is introduced in the Theory and Technique book. And the Theory and Technique book, of course, goes into much greater detail on scales, but here we're working on reading in the standard major and minor keys using this scale system. So we get to learn it in depth by note reading a means of note reading. So pretty cool. All right, let's take a look at this scale. On page 2, and we're just going to get started with it. Of course, as we work our way through the lessons in the book, we'll be getting more pieces of it, and pretty soon we'll be reading in any key that we want to all over the fretboard. But we're going to get started just in a couple different positions using one scale form here today, just for one octave. So there on page 2, you'll see it written out in written notation, you'll see it written out in tablature notation, and then you'll see a diagram there that also shows what it looks like in that position drawn there using both numbers and dots. So you can kind of get used to it. The diamond, open, circle shapes are for the root. That's the starting pitch. That's the pitch that the scale is named for. So we're going to be in the key of C right now. So that'll be a C pitch. And then you'll see that in both octaves. With the numbers, it's telling you which fingers are, as a general guideline, which fingers to use. So index is 1, middle is 2, ring is 3, and pinky is 4. So you see those there. That can be helpful. You'll also see those fingerings written above the actual notation. The little numbers written above the notation as that scale is drawn out there are showing you, or demonstrating, or suggesting which fingers you should use to play that. So those are fingering markings. Another thing to watch out for with this sort of thing, as we'll be going through the lesson series, is you'll see a C and then a Roman numeral number 2, so 2 I's. That means that's the position that we're going to be playing in. So positions along the guitar happen, or are identified, I should say, by where our index finger is located. So if we're in second position, position 2, our index finger is going to be in the 2nd fret, middle in the 3rd, ring in the 4th, and pinky in the 5th. And then anytime we shift out of that, of course, we'd be changing positions. So we're there right now. Later we'll be in 7th position. That means our index finger is going to be at the 7th fret. So those position markings can be helpful to you when you're learning these scales. Okay, so as we look at this scale, I'm going to put my middle finger on that C that is at the 3rd fret of the 5th string. And I would play this scale going middle and then pinky on that 5th string. Next string I go index, middle, pinky, and then on the next string I go index, ring, pinky. So you can just practice that scale just like that. Now, especially as we're playing up positionally along the fretboard, it can be really helpful to have your thumb back behind the 2nd finger. So wherever you got your 2nd finger in general, it's going to be in the general vicinity of that, back behind, kind of in the middle of the fretboard. And then we want to play this scale on the tips of our fingers. As we go higher in sound, our fingers may curl tighter. Now sometimes I also will let my hand, if we go way high, sometimes I let my hand drop a little bit as well. But you want to have space between your hand and the bottom of the neck, and you want it to be equally spaced. So if I stuck my index finger there and had my hand under it, I would want it to be equally touching on all sides. So you want an equal amount of space as you drop, and it's about a finger's width where my hand will be, where this part of my hand will be, right where that joint is, that big joint on the inside of the hand there, will be about a finger's space below that fretboard. And that gets us on the tips, curling those fingers, and we get a good sound. So you may just want to practice the scale a little bit there, just kind of getting familiar with it. It can also help to say the names of the notes, like C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C. You can do that sort of thing to just kind of get familiar with it. Now here in the video, we're going to go ahead and play number 1 so that we can work on playing this exercise together so you can get used to finding these notes. When we do this, we're going to do it right along with drums accompaniment. That will keep us in time, and it's nice. We've just got quarter notes, half notes happening in this exercise, and we're going to do it nice and slow. I want to make sure and use my fingers in those assigned frets as we read through this scale exercise. In the right hand, you can use any of the directional picking options that are out there. So whatever's comfortable. I would recommend that in general to just use a basic alternate picking. You can do all down plucks with these quarter notes, but as these exercises get faster, that alternate picking is really helpful. And in a setting like this, we're generally just use that alternate picking, just like so. If you need to work on alternate picking, then it can be really useful with just getting comfortable with that scale to actually just do like 4 plucks per note, alternating that picking direction. Oops, I just played a sharp 4, sorry. Not thinking about what I was doing, but 4 times. You could also do 2 plucks per note. And it can be really helpful to do 3 plucks per note, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Because that forces the change of picking direction with each of the notes that we play, and then just down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Now, if you're really ambitious, you could also switch that and go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, just to get used to it, because when we're playing actual music, sometimes one is going to work better than the other, just depending on the context, so you can start getting used to it. But for the most part, just that down up is a great place to start. So those are some scale exercises you can work on. We're going to go ahead and work on that note reading. So we're going to do this twice with drums accompaniment, first at a slower tempo and then at a faster tempo. This is with number 1 on page 2. So let's go ahead and play this exercise together. Okay, awesome. Off to a great start with that, I hope. Now, in the next 2 videos that come out, I'm going to be playing through the rest of the songs that are part of Lesson 1. So, in those videos, you can jam right along with me on all the songs and exercises that are part of Lesson 1. As we go further into each of these lessons, especially as we get started, they get harder and more complex, the songs and exercises. So exercises 13, 14, and 15 are particularly difficult. If they're too hard for you, it's okay to not play those yet. This book is sort of designed so you could go through it at different stages of your playing ability and get better. So if you're newer to the note reading, then just those first few exercises are great to work on. And then if you're better at note reading and you're more familiar with it, working on the challenging exercise will help you improve your ability more. But in the next 2 videos, they're split. The exercises are split in half. We're going to go ahead and play those, and you can play them right along with me. And we'll do that with drums accompaniment, and then for the songs, you get the full-on band accompaniment. So that's what's going to happen in the next 2 videos. Here in this video, though, we're going to take a look at the other position that we can play the notes that we were just playing in second position. There's another position that we can play in if we take that scale and transfer it to another string. So if we look at page 8, we'll see this. So ideally with this, you would have gone through all of Lesson 1, or all the songs and exercises that you're going to play in Lesson 1, at least those first few scale exercises and all the little songs. That's a great place to start. If you're not going to go into 13, 14, and 15, or 14 and 15, that's okay. But ideally you will have done that, and then you'll recognize from page 8 that we can play the same scale that we played in second position. We can play that up in 7th position. And with this, you'll see this at the bottom of page 8. We're going to put our root on the 6th string. So my middle finger is at the 8th fret of the 6th string, and I'm playing a C note there. The C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C are in unison with with the C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C that we worked on reading with down in second position. So you have to get used to a new position here. The scale will feel the same. So it's really great. Now, if you go with this, we're going to play exercise number 1 using this here in a minute. But when we work on all of the exercises and songs that you've played in second position, or are yet to play in second position, if we do them again in 7th position now, here with that same scale form, but in a different position on a different set of strings, or different string set, meaning that we're using the 6th, 5th, and 4th strings instead of the 5th, 4th, and 3rd strings, you do that, it's going to lock this in all the more. And how exciting, we're already learning how to play in 7th position and second position here in our very first lesson. So with that one, you can just get comfortable with that scale. Here in the video, we're going to go ahead and read exercise 1 again. We got the 2 different tempos, but we're going to do that here in 7th position. So first at the slower tempo and then a faster tempo. So let's go ahead and do it. awesome. As I mentioned previously, in the next 2 videos that come out that go with Lesson 1, which is part of Note Reading Book 3, we're going to be playing through all the scale exercises and songs that are found in the book. So we're going to play through numbers 2 through 15, or I'm going to, and you can play right along with me. Makes it more fun as you're working on playing these exercises to jam right along with me. So they'll happen at 2 tempos, a slower tempo and a faster tempo, and hopefully that helps you in your playing abilities. So I'll see you in the next videos. Thanks for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And be sure to check out more great content. You can find more information about me and my products at KristenBromley.com. Take care.